You've probably been told something like this. If you hate making reels, you're just not disciplined enough. If you're not posting daily, you're falling behind. And somewhere out there, a 22-year-old with a ring light and a trending audio is apparently supposed to outperform someone with 20 plus years of real expertise. But here's a thought. What if that resistance you feel every time you open Instagram isn't failure? What if it's maturity? What if your nervous system is rejecting a business model that forces deep expertise to be squeezed into a 7-second performance for an algorithm that forgets you tomorrow? Because hating social media might actually mean you're ready for something far more powerful. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact shift many coaches are making right now to build a business that doesn't depend on algorithms at all. Right now, there are two kinds of people building online: creators and sovereigns. Creators perform for the algorithm. They chase attention, they follow trends, they post constantly because the platform demands it, but they don't own their audience. They're renting access. They're sharecropping on somebody else's land and hoping the rules don't change tomorrow. Sovereigns operate differently. They build assets. They build trust. They build direct relationships with people who actually care about their work. And they understand something most creators never learn. 1,000 people who deliberately read your work are worth far more than a million people who will scroll past your face while waiting in line at Starbucks. Because attention is cheap, intention is expensive. If the feed feels exhausting, it may be because you're no longer meant to build for attention. You're meant to be building an intention business. And something interesting has been happening quietly over the last few years. While everyone else has been fighting for scraps of attention on social media, a growing number of writers, thinkers, coaches, and independent experts have been moving their audience somewhere else, not another social platform, to a place where depth is rewarded instead of punished, where your work lands directly in your reader's inbox, where one thoughtful piece of content can keep quietly working for you for years. That place is Substack. And most people still misunderstand what it actually is. Because Substack isn't just a newsletter, it's a direct to audience publishing platform. Every time you publish something there, two things happen at the same time. You create a piece of permanent content, and it's delivered directly to your subscribers as an email. No algorithm deciding who gets to see it, no fighting for reach, just your ideas landing in the inbox of people who actually are asked to hear from you. And that simple shift changes everything. Now, here's where most coaches get this wrong. They assume they still need to post constantly, but the sovereign approach is different. Instead of 5 pieces of shallow content each week, you create one powerful post, one piece that teaches something meaningful, one piece that demonstrates depth, one piece that makes readers think, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. That's what I call a monolith post. A single piece of content that acts like a monument to your expertise. Because someone reads something that genuinely connects with them differently, trust forms instantly. And trust is what builds businesses. There's another advantage most people miss. Social media is a timeline. Content appears and then it disappears. Substack works more like a library. Your posts are indexed, they show up in search, they get shared, they get recommended. A post you write today might bring you a client 2 years from now or tomorrow. That's the Google loop. Instead of feeding a temporary timeline, you're not feeding a timeline at all. You're building a library of ideas. You're building permanent intellectual property. And once you realize that, the strategy for building a business online changes completely. Because a sovereign Substack business doesn't start with posting more content. It starts with 3 structural decisions that determine whether your publication grows or disappears into the noise. Most coaches skip these steps, which is why their newsletter never gains traction. The first one is this: you define your niche clearly, who you help, the problem you solve, why your perspective matters, and then you build trust with free content. Insights, frameworks, stories, deep thinking. Once readers trust you, monetization becomes natural. Substack does support paid subscriptions, but most coaches generate far more income by using their newsletters to sell coaching, courses, templates, workshops, communities, or consulting. The newsletter becomes the trust engine that powers everything else. Instead of chasing leads, clients come to you already convinced. Growth on Substack also works differently. Instead of performing for the feed, you build relationships. Substack has built-in tools like notes, which allow quick daily insights and recommendations where writers share each other's publication and help each other grow. Your audience expands through the trust networks rather than algorithm gambling, which is why many of the most successful Substack creators focus on just three things: content publishing, clear thinking, and meaningful relationships with readers. The biggest reason coaches struggle with this transition isn't strategy, it's isolation. They leave social media chaos, but they don't yet have a new structure. They know they want depth instead of noise, but they're not sure how to build the ecosystem and make it work. And that's exactly why I built the U World Order. Inside this community, we help coaches make the full shift, setting up Substack correctly from the beginning, designing a publication that builds trust, creating content that positions you as the authority in your niche, and building a business model where your writing and ideas attract clients naturally. Most importantly, you're not doing it alone. You're surrounded by sovereign builders who are stepping out of the algorithm race and into something far more sustainable. So, if you're tired of performing for the feed, good. That may be the clearest signal you're ready for the next level, a sovereign business. The link to the U World Order community on School is below. Join the migration. The world needs to hear your message. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.